Well, this is the Alex Job racing car, the number 22, and on the Team Seattle Alex Job racing car, we have seen exactly the same work being done, and it was the 23 car.
It was lower down, though. It was on the bottom splitter.
Yeah,
this is on the wing, so in fairness to them, they've got a lot more places that they can attach and wrap up, and that is certainly going to make this a little bit safer situation than what they had trying to hold the rear diffuser on.
Just an indication of how strong that cord is as well, because they've got garden shears out there to try and slice it in two, and it's taken two guys to get that cut off to make sure that there aren't any straggly ends that are going to get tied up with the engine cover that is now being put back on. Let's hand to the other end of the Continental Tire pit lane though, and Joe Bradley with a bit of news. Joe, I think, is also viewing the same stop for the number 22 car, which is away now, so it's out of there.
Yep, but outside the top 5 now in GTD, it's still René Rast who leads by that same 3.1 seconds over Nicky Katzberg. Those two absolutely trading times. The third place car, Fabio Babini, he's only a dozen seconds back in the third place, and not far behind him, maybe about 5-6 seconds, is Pedro Lamy in the number 98 Aston Martin. Then it's Damien Faulkner, who's another 18 seconds back in the 5th place in number 93 Viper.
Don't think Shane van Gisbergen got out of the number 22 Alex Job racing car, so it will rejoin in a moment or two as the number 3 Chevy Corvette comes down pit road. Antonio Garcia pitting from the GTLM lead, and he's right with Jim Roller once again.
Antonio's going to stay in the car. They've already changed the right side tires. Now they're going to work on the left side tires. We talked earlier about how efficient these Corvette guys are, and just fuel and tires only. This is going to be a lightning stop. A little bit further up pit road, we've got the 85 car, which leads the PC category, making its routine stop. There's going to be a driver change there. All 4 tires have already been changed. The driver is almost belted in. The driver helper is leaning over and working on the lap belts, and now plugging in the radio and any sort of cool suit apparatus that the driver may have. The steering wheel's going back on. The fueling is done, so he should be back at it shortly.
Garcia back into the race. It's funny, the 3 and the 85, although totally different cars, do tend to stop on the same lap. I remember seeing those bright yellow machines in previously as the number 3 car with a bit of tape on the front of that car now for Antonio Garcia. Works its way into the horseshoe. And the 85 is up and running again as well. So Stephen Simpson out. We'll tell you who's on board that just as soon as we can, with Earl Bamber now, Jeremy, out front in GTLM.
Indeed so, and he's going to be due a pit stop, not for a little while yet. So this is going to be really interesting in GTLM. The Corvette, I'm fairly sure, is going to have to make another pit stop, as is the Porsche. The Porsche will need pretty full service. I think, though, it can probably get by on just one more pit stop. Like I say, Gavin's also going to have to come in for a splash. So this is far from over in GTLM. Oliver Gavin is in second place now, the number 4 Corvette. He last pitted on the same lap as Earl Bamber. There are 7 seconds between those two.
The 20 PC car comes down pit road with Johnny Molam at the wheel. That is the prototype challenge car with the Chevrolet engine, 3rd in class.
Is that Shane van Gisbergen off again, same place?
Oh, really?
Yeah, this time it's
even
full
more
of grass. Okay, so that's slipping away then from number 22 team. They are down now to 10th place in the class. Boy, how quickly that changes.
And look at the rear wing.
Yeah,
look at the rear wing bending back on the stanchions there, offering no downforce whatsoever. And it's pitched the car sideways again through that left-hand kink. Now down to 10th position. This is the car that moments ago was in 2nd place, remember, between René Rast and Nicky Katzberg. Meanwhile, on the 20 pit stop, I know it's been and gone, Shea Adam. Welcome back, by the way, to IMSA Radio. Did it go faultlessly for the 20 crew?
Yeah, the pit stop seemed to go very well. Johnny Mullum stayed behind the wheel, but the bodywork damage to that car, the right rear side pod completely missing, to the point where the mechanics, when they pulled off the tire, didn't quite know where the reference point was to put it back on. It took an extra bit of a bobble, but J-Mo heading back out, I would imagine that he will be finishing the race.
That's an absolute replay.
Deja vu.
Deja vu. I mean, exactly the same. I mean, almost to the same wheel track marks when he bounces across the motorcycle track there at turn 5. That's amazing.
You get a 9.5 for the repetition in that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Superb. I honestly thought I was watching a replay. This time, an awful lot more grass in the front grille, but the pressing problem for Alex Job Racing is sorting out this rear wing. It's made the problem worse, if anything.
Yes.
They're going to fuel it. They're going to brush all the grass out of the way, and then, well, turn their attention to that rear wing. Okay, boys, that did not work. What can we do next?
So apex of turn 1 now is our GTLM leader. That's a 912 Ferrari with Earl Bamber aboard. Apex of turn 1 now is Oliver Gavin, car number 4 Corvette. That is the gap then between first and second. Where is the second of the Corvettes? Not yet in sight. Both of those two, I reckon, are definitely going to make another pit stop. Here now, across start-finish line, comes the, well, actually, I guess the Farfus and the BMW has already gone past. Yeah, he's exiting turn 1 now. And then it's a number 3 Corvette that just made a pit stop and will need a splash and go before the end, unless there is a caution period.
I talked about that deja vu feeling for Shane Van Gisbergen out on the infield. Another man getting deja vu, Jim Roller, is you with a 22, because he's back again.
Yes, and it's a lot worse this time. His off was a lot worse. There's almost a bale of hay here they pulled out of the front of this car, and now they've gone back to work on the rear wing because it obviously did not hold with the tie-down strap. So now they've got to change the rear wing. They brought out some different wrenches to try and get more torque on the bolts that were so difficult to get out. You can hear the clanging and the banging of the wrenches. This is a mechanic's knuckles worst nightmare, and they all are wearing those protective gloves that protect them from heat and everything else. But I tell you, I wouldn't want to be sticking my hands in there. And now they've got all the bolts. Now they've got it completely loosened, and they'll be able to replace the wing. I'll let you know when the work is done.
Straight to Shea down at the other end of the Continental Tire pit lane then, with news on the man to benefit from this problem for the 22. It's Nicky Katzberg in the 540, just been into pit lane.
And he gets to stay behind the wheel, but he did get 4 new Contis to go out and play with. But bit of an interesting motion that they need. The air jack release isn't actually working on the car, so the guy who actually changes the left rear tire then needs to wiggle the car to try and get it to come off of the air jacks. Hope that was their last pit stop, because, guys, anytime that could stop working.
John Hindhaugh joins us. Now, we're getting word on Twitter of some potential problems for Pipo Derani leading the motor race. 699 laps about to go in the book, but according to Pierre on Twitter, Pipo Derani starting to report gearbox alarms, as in concerns about the gearbox being able to change through the gears, presumably.
Well, that could be any number of things, Johnny.
Gearbox
it could
alarms.
It'll be on the steering wheel. It'll be on the steering wheel. It'll be something that's gone out of parameter. The steering wheels are very, very complex these days, and they'll tend to show you either the revs or whatever you select, but overriding that, if there's something that goes out of parameter, it'll flash up. And it might be just something that says gearbox alarm, or it might be something more specific than that. There's normally a button somewhere that you can clear it. Same sort of thing that would flash up on the driver information display of a street car, and it will depend on whether it doesn't seem to be slowing him down. Although I say that, he's done a 42 flat last time around, which is a little bit slower than he's been going, but not much.
No. To Nicky Katzberg then, okay, just made a pit stop then in the second place car in GTD.
The work's still going on, by the way, on the number 22 down in the Continental Tire pit lane, and Jim's still there. What's going on now?
Well, it's a very complicated setup, because the wing is mounted to a carbon fiber air filter. And this carbon fiber air filter goes all the way across the back of the car. They had to take that out, put a new one of those in, and that's very complicated. Once that's in, that's where the mounts are for the wing. So the mounts for the wing aren't attached to the car proper. They are attached to this air filter. So once they get the air filter changed, then they can put the wing back on. In the meantime, the crew next to them, the number 23 car, is getting ready for their pit stop. It's going to be really busy down here. They're pushing the 22 forward a little bit to give the 23 a little bit more room. This has got to be very frustrating.
And then some. I mean,
Understatement of the race, I think.
Goodness
two
gracious.
spins on the infield, which, you know, would require a couple of laundry bills for Shane van Gisbergen. At least for the second one, he will have had warning that the Porsche might pitch sideways and run virtually right across the initial tyre marks on that cut through down at the West Horseshoe.
Precision driving that,
Oh,
Johnny.
fantastic. I mean, you know, it's just like being on a skid pan. And to be honest, the grass is still so soggy here after 2 solid days of rain. It's very similar to a damp skid pan, but now the team have the whole of the rear wing off, as Jim says.
Yeah, and they're slipping farther and farther down the order, now down to 13th place
shame.
for car number 22. So I'm afraid their hopes for Alex Job Racing. What a shame for Alex and Holly. Best wishes to Holly Job.
The gap
And
is 7 seconds.
7
Gap
seconds
is
at the
7
head of the
seconds
field. Jordan
indeed.
Taylor to Pippa Durrani. Just a
the gap's
quick,
been pretty constant, 7 seconds the last half a dozen laps or so, John.
just a quick thought as we're beginning to head into the last hour of the race. We will need your nominations, please, for the Robin Goodman Award, the I Respect Spirit of the Race Award. There are, well, Joe Bradley has coined this phrase before, soap opera behind every garage door. Isn't that the case for this particular race? We will announce that in the Michelin post-race tech show, which will be on IMSA Radio after the checkered flag. And we are looking for your questions for that. Enter on Twitter, please. Questions and nominations on Twitter. Your nominations for Spirit of the Race, for the individual, team or group of people who you think have most displayed the spirit of endurance racing in the 54th Rolex 24 hours at Daytona. At Radio Le Mans, use the hashtag SOTR on the hashtag at Radio, at IMSA Radio, hashtag SOTR. And your questions, please, points of order, or just things that you've noticed during the race that you maybe would like explained. We have plenty of time.
Yeah, how long have we got?
Yeah, forever. My plane's not until tomorrow afternoon. That's fine. And that will be, again, at IMSA Radio. And the hashtag for that is Rolex PRT. Hashtag Rolex PRT, please, for that. Using the at IMSA Radio Twitter account. Just be thinking of those for the last hour, which starts right now. I mean, it's brought to you on IMSA Radio, exclusively live in sound and vision, commercial free, on no interruption. IHG Rewards Club, final 60 minutes of this first round of the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship for 2016. Jeremy Shaw.
Exactly an hour to go, and René Rast brings the GTD leading Audi for Magnus Racing onto pit lane. Looks like regular service. They are going to put on fresh set of Continental tyres. They don't seem to be sickers from our vantage point.
Let's allow our
700
pit
yards
lane
away. Aha.
reporter, Continental Tyre pit lane reporter, to tell us what's going on. She's right on the spot at Shea Adam.
They did give him stickers, which is like giving René Rast the best birthday present ever, except it's not his birthday. René, who is so desperate to redeem himself from last year where they were running away with the race and then narrowly lost it. He's won this race before, but it hasn't been in an Audi, and as an Audi factory driver, he would love nothing more than to do that for Magnus today, and he only has an hour left to go.
Pedro Lamy coming in as well.
Yes, third place car, Pedro Lamy, the Aston Martin, also into pit lane. Again, fresh tyres. He's at the very last pit stall by pit exit. Last of the fuel going in. Still
We might have got to the point of 23 hours in the race, but we still have cars going quicker than they've managed for the whole of those 23 hours, by the way. Brendan Hartley has recently done a 140.250. Do
you know why?
Go on.
Because he can.
Because he's a world champion.
I mean, it's just remarkable, isn't it? And a testament to the cars, Jeremy.
Yeah. Antonio Garcia also sticking in that car's fastest lap, trying to hove in on his teammate Ollie Gavin.
He knows he's got to make another pit stop, I believe, Antonio Garcia, so push as hard as he can. He's got a 21-second deficit to make up over Oliver Gavin. Ollie is about 7 seconds behind Earl Bamber. That gap has been pretty steady since the last round of pit stops. Earl Bamber, we've got, what, 57 minutes to go. Those two made their last pit stop on lap 662 done. 26 laps is going to be pretty close here as to whether the GTLM leaders, the number 9, 12 and number 4, can make it without that final splash.
Fabio Babini in now from the lead of GT Daytona in the Lamborghini Huracan. Shea won't be too far away from that.
You're right about that, Johnny. I'm actually in between that car and the 97, which is pitting. They both decided to finish about the same time. The 97 actually has handwriting on the trunk because people have written their name on it, but the 97's pit stop already done. Unfortunately, one of the S&P cars is parked immediately in front of it, so the team is having to push it backwards to try and get some space. The S&P guys are working on their pit stop. Fuel still going into the 28 as well as the 97. New tires for everyone. This is go big or go home hour. Here, the 97 still with fuel, although it's raised up off the ground. Now it gets lowered back down. The Lamborghini still waiting. The S&P car goes back out on track, so there is no diversion for the 28. The 97 beats him back out, though. Boy, that was close.
Let's head to the other end of the Continental Tire pit lane to Jim Roller. You're seeing the 62 stopping.
Yes, the Ferrari car that had such high hopes about mid-race. In fact, Tony Vielander thought that they had done everything they needed to do with this brand new car to really be competitive, and then they ran afoul in the night, as many of these teams do. Routine stop, fuel, tires is back underway.
Okay, thank you, Shea. Thank you, Jim, for the updates. And Babini has rejoined the race. Maxime Martin, I notice, in and out as well for the 97. Jeremy Shaw.
I think that'll probably put Damien Faulkner into the lead, but he is due a pit stop as well in car number 93. That is the Viper in GTD. So it's Fabio Babini, as you just said, has just made his final stop of the day in the Conrad Motorsport Lamborghini.
And Faulkner stayed out in the 93, so yes, he owes us a stop, but not on that lap.
He was
next time, I would think.
Yeah, he was last in on lap number 645. He's 673. He's on at the moment.
Yeah, so
I mean, he's within the window, Jeremy, so he can come in any time. The GTD cars can do an hour, and we're down to 55 minutes.
Yep, no, that should be no problem. But he came in last time. He came in a lap after the number 28 car, so he's going to eat one more lap of fuel, out of this fuel tank. There goes Pipo Derani across the line. That's 704 laps now, but for our race leader, 141.2, turning pretty consistent laps there. Just what he needs to do to hold about a gap of about 7 seconds over Jordan Taylor in car number 10.
And the magic number on laps, Johnny, for the distance record?
Oh, to beat the distance record, 776.
Right.
So, yeah.
Not going to get that.
We ain't going to get there. It would be interesting to
What
find
about
out.
on this configuration?
On this configuration, which was in 1992 when the Nissan won, and that was 762 laps at a distance of 2,712 miles. So 763 you'd need to beat it. We ain't going to do that either. No way. But what about last year in 2015? It was a 740 lap affair last year.
Might not even be that.
No. Damien Faulkner staying out again.
2634 mileage in 2015 on this 3.56 mile circuit. It changed in 85, actually became a bit shorter in 85.
Don't understand what the 93 car is hoping to gain by staying out. I mean, his lap times are good, 49 flat last time around, Jeremy.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're going to time the pit stop and save time in the pits. You're not going to short fuel it, you're just going to dump everything in.
Yep, no, it was 49 flat was a little bit quicker than René Rast, but not as quick as Nicky Katzberg. There's 5 seconds now between Rast and Katzberg, so that gap has gone out a little bit since they made their last pit stops over the course of the last 6-7 laps. Not sure whether Katzberg can make it actually. Fairly tight, I think.
That's
Might just about be okay.
That's Katzberg up ahead of our race leader, I think, just about to be lapped by the 2 machine, driven still by Pipa Durrani. Yeah, Nicky Katzberg in the 540 car, sticking to the inside line at the West Horseshoe and allowing the ESM car round the outside, so Pipa Durrani will be able to sneak up there into the braking area at turn 6. Wasn't too badly delayed as it turned out. And back onto the banking goes Durrani, enjoying a 7.5 second lead over Jordan Taylor in second position, the number 10. The 90 car of Ryan Hunter-Reay is in third. 4th place for João Barbosa in the 5 car, but several laps down. So it's 3 cars on the lead lap in the prototype class. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars on the lead lap in GTLM. Earl Bamber leads it in the 912 from Ollie Gavin in the 4. Garcia in the number 3 Chevy Corvette, Alessandro Pierguidi in the 68 Ferrari, and Augusto Farfus in the number 25 BMW is in 5th position. And
which Porsche
let's
is
hand
that?
down to our Continental Tire pit lane crew. Shea Adam with a Viper very close to you.
The Viper with the bright number 1 on the side, and that's because Damien Faulkner had managed to get it there through pit stop cycles, yes, but Damo is expecting to be triple stinting for this last bit of the race, so he is very much liking his first trip driving a Viper or anything with such a big engine in front of it. He's normally a Porsche guy, but I think down on Jim's end there is actually a Porsche.
There is. It was a sorry, Jim.
Go ahead, Jim.
That's the 912 you heard leaving. That should be his final stop. It was fuel and tires only. Now the 912 can continue to hang on to this and get its way back up to the top when the rotation of pit stops is complete. That'll be the 77th class or overall victory for Porsche in this great event, and it'll be the 41st class or overall victory for a 911 derivative.
Great stats there, Jim. You've been doing your homework ahead of this one. And the 912 car rejoins the race now. So this is all looking nicely on schedule for the class leaders or class podium finishers. It's all about the Corvettes or the Porsche, with Earl Bamber trying to chase down Ollie Gavin and Antonio Garcia at the moment. The Porsche through the left-hand kink on the infield now. By the way, Damien Faulkner having pitted from the GTD lead in the Dodge Viper. We're waiting for him to feed back into the sequence, but that will see René Rast back out front in the number 44. Nicky Katzberg's up to second. Richie Stanaway to third in the number 98. Aston Martin from Fabio Babini. And the number 4 car comes down pit road. This is the class leader, Jim Roller.
Ollie Gavin brings the car to a stop. The hard luck driver from Yardley Hastings, the man who's always showed great speed in these 24-hour races, but has never had great luck. He's been able to grab some victories, but probably not as many as he deserves, considering his great skill and ability behind the wheel of these great Corvette machines. This will be just fuel and tires only, and Ollie Gavin will have the honor of trying to bring that Corvette home in first place. He's got his teammate and Earl Bamber to beat.
Nicky Katzberg putting in the best timer for the 540 car now in the final hour. So the 540 car, driven by Nicky Katzberg, doing a 147.416. Back down to our Continental Tire pit lane and to Shea Adam.
Boy, the 22 was just stopped in its pit box, and a great big plume of white smoke came out from the hood. That was not something that they were expecting to see. The mechanics immediately put their hands up, signaling not that they didn't want to touch it, but that the driver should then go. I believe it is still Shane Van Gisbergen behind the wheel, and he went back out on track. That could have been some quick overheating, but the car wasn't stopped very long.
Side by side in GTLM, the Porsche just takes the lead from the Corvette there of Oliver Gavin. Gavin came out of the pit lane just ahead of the Porsche, but the Porsche snuck ahead of him there going into the East Horseshoe, turn 3. But there's just a couple of car lengths between those two. Gavin is trying to get that car up to speed on those, I believe they were fresh tyres. He's got, this is going to be a flat-out battle to the finish now between these two contenders, and a good lap there by number 912 Earl Bamber, as one would expect. The Le Mans winner last year has put a bit of daylight between himself and Oliver Gavin, but Oliver Gavin is really trying to get the hammer down and catch up again to that Porsche. It was briefly effectively in the lead of the class. It's still Antonio Garcia, his teammate, who leads right now, but he's definitely going to have to make another pit stop before the end of this race.
Yeah, Earl Bamber, Le Mans winner last year in very different piece of machinery, of course, with Nick Tandy and with the Formula One man whose name escapes me now all of a sudden. Who was Formula One last year, for goodness sake? As we got a radio message coming through. Hulkenberg, Nicky Hulkenberg, thank you.
Didn't catch that radio.
No.
Somebody sounded fairly frantic, as it would.
So the 44 car heading into the 6th turn. Still trying to wait for that radio message, but didn't get it. Was it from the Corvette team, do you think, Jeremy?
Don't know, honestly.
Okay, well, keep listening out for any further radio messages. This is an enticing battle between Garcia, Alessandro Pierguidi and Earl Bamber, and then Ollie Gavin in 4th position, but Earl Bamber muscling his way through. And 6:95 is the lap that we're currently working for Garcia, Pierguidi and Earl Bamber. Graham Goodwin joins us now, editor of dailysportscar.com. How's your pulse rate, Graham?
It's getting there, isn't it? It's once again, it's another turn of the screw in more than one class as well. Great 24 hours of racing this is shaping up to be, and a final hour brought to you by the Alex G Rewards Club. Okay. It's going to be worthy of, well, a gold-plated sponsor, isn't it? Wonderful.
Was that? I think that was Jordan Taylor saying I don't feel too good. Was that right?
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, he's certainly doing a fabulous job. He's just lost out a couple of tenths of a second. That's all the gap now between those first two cars. 8.3 seconds with 709 laps in the books.
Are we going to get a second consecutive race here, Jeremy, with drama for the Wayne Taylor Racing team?
Well, yeah. We've had drama for every other single car in this race.
Brendan Hartley, by the way, on pit road, or at least he was in the 0-1, still being shown as pit lane, but maybe on his way out now in the 0-1 car.
Yeah, I think it may be that. No.
So having made a stop from 5th position, not really in the equation for the top 3 finishers, because top 3 remain on their 710th lap. Pipa Durrani from Jordan Taylor, possibly not feeling too good for this final stint. Ryan Hunter-Reay in 3rd position. João Barbosa several laps down.
Nicky Katzberg in the car number 540 has just made another pit stop. That's unscheduled. He was only in, what, 10, 12 laps ago.
Is this a time pit stop for the end, Jeremy?
Yeah, maybe
a little early.
Maybe need a little splash.
Straight down to our Continental Tire pit lane to Shea Adam with news on the 540 car.
It was the first of our splash and goes, and get ready, boys, because we're going to have a lot of them. There is just about every team on the pit wall in terms of GTD getting ready to give their car just a little bit more fuel. Jeremy, you asked earlier if the 540 could make it. They didn't think they could, and it was about 8 seconds worth of fuel, so they would have been well short.
They came in, their stop was 5 laps prior to the other contenders, which is number 44, number 98, and the number 28. Damien Faulkner in car 93, the Viper, he should be fine. He came in 3 laps later than that, so that shouldn't be a difficulty.
Jim Roller's right on the spot with Wayne Taylor Racing. What do you know about Jordan Taylor?
Well, you heard the radio transmission that he's not feeling very well. The car's got a vibration. There's a lot of consternation on the crew guys. Wayne himself is just absolutely beside himself as they're trying to make a decision, and I think they're trying to decide not only what to do about the car, but what to do about Jordan, because if he's not feeling well, and in fact, here comes our answer. Max Angelelli has come from behind the pit wagon, suited, booted, and ready to go. So we're going to see a driver change here, which will extend the pit stop a little bit, which is probably part of the problem that they were trying to decide what to do. So they've got a vibration and a sick driver to worry about.
Get a little bit of gas in the cockpit. Start the water.
That was the end of another message then from Jordan Taylor back to the guys on the Pratt perch, and it sounds like the driver change will be made. I'm getting shades of last year here, and the car having to make a very last-ditch pit stop. That was because of a driver limit. Well, this is for health concerns, not serious health concerns, but nevertheless difficulties with Jordan Taylor suffering with this viral infection. We think it's a really bad sore throat at the very least, and concentration and starting to wane a little bit. We knew that the fatigue aspect of this race was going to be the main problem for Jordan. It's a brave call to put him in for the final stint, and it's not quite come off for the 10.
Yeah, I mean, the car didn't have the pace really to match the number 2 car in any case, so it was a bold effort. You know that excuse me, you know that Jordan's going to give it his all, and if he could possibly do it, he would. But yeah, I don't think the car, whoever was driving that car, I don't think it's quite got the pace to match the number 2 car. So here it comes now.
No, that's 90.
That's the excuse me, 90 car. That's curious.
90 car.
Yeah, in the interim, the 90 car. This is its routine stop. This will be their final stop. No driver change there, just fuel and tires.
That's earlier than they need to be. But they can easily make it to the end from here with just 41 minutes to go. So in case there is a full course caution, great strategic call there by Gary Grossenbacher and the rest of the engineers and strategists at that visitflorida.com entry car number 90. They're off the pace there, 45 seconds or more now off the second place car over rookie Taylor.
Here comes the leader.
Leader down pit road.
And answering that call.
The 90 car is released.
And here comes number 10.
And also the 10, so Jim Roller will be with the number 10 car. Shea Adam a bit further down our Continental Tire pit lane and is ready to receive the number 2 car. But we'll deal with the race leader first of all. Shea, talk us through the stop.
Really simple for you, Johnny. It's going to be fuel and tires only. No driver change, but he is getting a new drinks bottle. Jim?
Jordan Taylor has climbed out of the car gingerly and gone back behind the pit wagon. Got his pat on the back from his dad, and Max Angelelli, Max the Axe. I tell you though, guys, if you wanted one man in your car to chase down someone in the final hour of the 24 hours of Daytona, there aren't many guys I'd pick over Max Angelelli.
The 10 car released quicker than the 2 there with Angelelli on board. It's still a decent margin that the number 2 car has, as off goes the number 98 Aston Martin. That is the car in second position in GT Daytona with Richie Stanaway at the wheel, and he does not return to the banking. He's still moving at a fair rate of knots, but below the double yellow line, Graham Goodwin.
Now rejoins the banking, but we didn't see what caused that incident, just the end of it. It's Pipa Durrani out and away, and we know it takes a little while for this car to wear its boots well. This is going to be an absolutely critical few moments. 5:40 there. Nicky Katzberg, car looking more or less immaculate. So Nicky Katzberg in 4th position in GTD with the number 5 car. Chad Barboza still running 4th, but after that earlier delay, out of immediate contention for the win.
Thanks to Max Braden on Twitter, tweeting at IMSA Radio and at Radio Le Mans to tell us that at over 700 laps, the hashtag Rolex 24 leaders have already driven the distance of Daytona to Los Angeles. coast to coast after 700 laps, and we've got further to go. Down to our Continental Tyre pit lane, and Jim Roller, who has found Jordan Taylor. Jim.
Jordan, you brought the car in. Is it you're not feeling up to it? Was there a vibration with the car? What was going on?
No, there's something going on in the back of the car, letting some gases in. So it's kind of burning my eyes, and I think they've got it fixed, or got an idea of what it is. So hopefully they can fix it for Max, and we'll be good to go.
All right, well, best of luck to you. You feeling okay, though? You've had a rough week.
Yeah, it's always nice to be in the race car, so it's been a fun day.
All right, good luck.
What a star that boy is.
He is indeed. Need more like him in the sport, don't we? And you don't like to see a race drive after having pushed that hard, getting out of the car in discomfort.
I wouldn't want to be driving a race car around that's got some sort of strange fumes either.
No.
Especially if you're not feeling good to begin with.
9, 1, 2 and 4 still duking it out. For at the moment, second position in
Yeah,
GTLM.
they are. Look at this. It's challenging on the outside there. Alabama having to keep the door shut. So Oliver Gavin is closed in that gap because he came out of the pit lane directly ahead of the Porsche, but the Porsche on hot tyres was able to make the move into the turn 3, and he fell back probably a couple of seconds or so, but Oliver Gavin has made up that deficit, and this is the battle now. Ahead of them both is a number 3 car. Pretty sure that's going to have to make another pit stop before the end of the race, so I think this is our battle for the lead. It's got about a 50-second lead, has the Corvette.
And indeed, in comes the other Corvette. So absolutely spot on there, Jeremy.
Going to come in now, and it takes about 30 seconds to drive down the pit lane here, and he had a 50-second lead, so yeah, we'll see where he comes out
it's
again.
It's going to be close.
After taking on the fuel.
We'll get Jim Roller to talk us through that in a moment or two. You're listening to IMSA Radio in the final hour of the race, brought to you by IHG Rewards Club, and Jim Roller is at the point where the number 3 has stopped. Jim.
No driver change. Right side tires have been changed. Left sides are going on. It'll be just enough fuel to make it to the finish. They're ready to release him. And he's on his way. It's a mono battle now, guys. Everybody's fueled up. Who can leg it to the end?
Well, the number 3 car is going to hit the pit exit line as the second and third place cars cross the start-finish line now.
They're going to get past him.
They're going to get past him.
Earl Bamber and Ollie Gavin then heading through into first and second positions. Fabulous. In GTLM. Antonio Garcia having no choice but to feed into third position. There he is coming out of the pit lane exit. There's no speed limit there, but it is a tight and twisty road. It's much narrower than the main track, and of course Bamber and Gavin were able to get on the power far quicker than Garcia, who had to bide his time. Now he can get a wriggle on to see whether he can close in on those 2 cars ahead.
Porsche versus Corvette. Corvette won this race last year. They also won at Sebring. He took his
hit him.
inside him.
He hit him.
A little bit of a nudge.
Hit the rear of the 912 car at the rear right-hand corner. That was enough to unsettle the car. Gavin goes through. Goes through.
Ollie Gavin not messing about here with 35 minutes to go. It's IMSA Radio, the final hour of the race, brought to you by IHG Rewards Club. It's Graham Goodwin, myself, Johnny Palmer, and Jeremy Shaw with Shay Adam and Jim Roller down in our Continental Tyre pit lane. And this is the scrap that was promised to us coming here to Daytona this year. It was always going to be one to remember in GTLM. Not disappointed yet because the 700 laps are up for the GTLM crew. And yeah, that was a touch, certainly. Did Gavin misjudge his braking points, or was that a professional foul?
No, but the gap is wide open there. Earl Bamber left a huge gap down the inside. Hey, what's Oliver Gavin going to do? Say, okay, that's fine. You leave that gap. I'm not going to go for that one. Of course he's not. He's going to go for the gap. That's what he did. And he's taken the lead, but the Porsche's coming back at him now on the straightaway.
It wasn't the width of a C7R gap, though, I'll say. It was just less than that. Here's Jim Roller.
Jeremy, you'll recall Laguna Seca a few years ago. It was Porsche and Corvette right to the last corner, and both of them ended up big steaming piles of carbon fiber.
Earl Bamber absolutely side by side with Gavin heading into turn 1. He got the full overlap. Will he be able to do it down here at the International Horseshoe? No is the answer, because Gavin keeps that right-hand elbow out and keeps the right-hand side of the car tucked into the curb. So yes, the Porsche overlapped under braking, but as long as Gavin shows him the outside line into turn 1, that's not going to work for the Kiwi.
Very, very well matched, these cars. It did take, I'm afraid, that little nudge to make a difference. What is the answer going to be from the New Zealander?
He's not going to like it, is Bamba, that's for sure. What a battle this is, to a classic battle in Porsche against Corvette in GTLM. Last year, almost pretty much even, because Corvette took Daytona and Sebring, the 2 blue ribbon races, but Porsche took Petit Le Mans and the championship at the end of the season. What a great run onto the banking that was by Oliver Gavin. It's given him 8 or 10 car lengths lead, much more of a lead he had than last time around over Earl Bamber in the Porsche.
Big wiggle by the rear wing of the Porsche. We've seen that for much of the race. And Porsche defending an unrivaled international record. They have never not had a car on a class podium finish here at the Rolex at 24 Hours of Daytona.
You're not missing anything else in the other classes, by the way. PC still headed by Kenton Cook, and he's got a 4-lap advantage over Tom Kimber-Smith. That's the 85 from the 52 in PC. GTD headed by René Rast, and if anything, he's stretching his legs now over Fabio Babini in the number 28 car. At 3rd position in that class, Richie Stanaway. He's got back up to speed after dropping towards the inside of the banking.
It did, but that did drop him out of 2nd position. Seeing again the little bit of a nerf there, and Earl Bamber did quite well to gather that one up. Wasn't a pleasant place to get the hit.
The spotter will have said, hang on, because you're about to be tapped into the West horseshoe.
Yeah.
And he will have been late on the brakes, of course, and it could have nerfed the Porsche with that rear, with the engine hanging over the rear wheels. It's very easy to nerf that Porsche into a spin, so you're right, Bamber did well.
Yeah, a bit naughty, really. Certainly wasn't gentlemanly, but hey, is motor racing gentlemanly? Not always.
Not in the final hour of a 24-hour race. I don't think Gavin is that type of driver, but it's maybe win at all costs.
Yeah, well, we heard that. That was crew chief from the Porsche team. The race is you and Gavin ahead of you. And Earl Bamber saying he's tried to help me off, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Pipa Durrani leads the race overall by 13.5 seconds over Max Angelelli, putting the 10 car at the 11th hour because of this problem with fumes coming into the cockpit, so that will also affect Max's environment for driving. Doing a 141.4 last time around. The gap's now up to over 14 seconds as the GTLM leaders are up again on the banking.
Time for calm heads in the 912 Porsche.
There goes René Rast across the line one more time. In the 14th position overall in car number 44, leading GTD. There's a 2nd place car in GTD. It's Fabio Babini in the Lamborghini, who has not yet, I believe, appeared.
Not yet.
No, so a good lead that René Rast has in the final stages of this race.
And Rast has had his last pit stop?
I think so. There comes Babini now. So the gap between those two was
32 seconds, but with Stanaway catching Babini for 2nd position.
Despite that off a little while ago.
Yep. So 140.6 for Durrani, 141.4 for this man, Max Angelelli. A fine servant of endurance racing, and for the last several years for this team. And for the 2nd consecutive year, last hour dramas for Wayne Taylor Racing. Last year, finding themselves in a situation where they needed to pit because of a driver hours miscalculation, and this time we heard Jim Roller in the Continental Tire pit crew told by Jordan, fumes in the cockpit.
It's the final hour of the 54th Rolex 24, brought to you by IHG Rewards Club here on IMSA Radio. 30 minutes to go. We're at 10 past 2 in the afternoon. This is only the opening round of the 2016 WeatherTech Sportscar Championship, and if this is what we've got to look forward to through the whole of the year, man, I'm going to have to buckle up even tighter than expected.
You're going to need a day off after every race before you fly home. That's the way we look at this one. Here comes
Corvette across the line. There goes the Porsche. There goes the 2nd of the Corvettes. There's a difference between the battle for the lead in GTLM. The top three cars separated by about 4 seconds across the line as they complete lap 704.
And Ollie Gavin pulled out a 2-second lead over the last lap and a half over Earl Bamber. Bit of traffic there, not helping the Porsche man's cause whatsoever. 2.2 seconds as they cross the line.
Yeah, a similar margin back to Garcia, a little bit fractionally less back to third place, but there's several cars between those two on the racetrack.
Yeah. So Garcia's got the traffic to deal with that will have pulled out that gap between the two leaders.
So 2.2 seconds at the start of this lap between Gavin and Bamber, then a further 2.1 seconds, and less than that now, back to Antonio Garcia in the number 3 Chevrolet Corvette. Augusto Farfus is 4th in the class, GTLM, with the BMW M6. Team Rahal with only one surviving BMW M6, the new chassis for 2016, but they will be pleased with the run for this new car. Not really able to keep up with the pace of the 3 cars ahead, though.
Inside the final half hour, then 28 minutes and change remaining in this 24-hour race.
Now it's the last half hour, it's all set, nothing's going to change.
Right.
It doesn't work like that, does it, in 24-hour racing? The half hour always doles out drama.
Yeah.
We hope of the close wheel-to-wheel racing variety, not of the bitter disappointment for someone who's doing particularly well variety. It could be either, it could be both.
Yeah. Certainly Antonio Garcia creeping a little bit closer to old Bamber on that lap.
And Bamber not making the impact on the leader.
No, he got that pretty hefty bump from behind, didn't he, going to turn 5, did Bamber? Whether that's just slightly set up the alignment off the on the rear end of that 912 Porsche, we don't know.
Richie Stanaway closing in on Fabio Babini for that second position in GTD, but it does look at the moment as if René Rast has got a telling margin.
Last hour of the race, last half hour of the race, brought to you live on IMSA Radio by IHG Rewards Club. John Hinoff back in the chair. And don't forget your nominations, please, for Spirit of the Race Award, our I Respect Spirit of the Race Award. It will be voted by you. I'm not even going to mention any potential nominees today because we could all do about a dozen each. There seems to have been so many stories this weekend, this 24 hours. Use the hashtag SOTR to @IMSA Radio, please. And your questions are already flooding in for post-race tech, for Michelin post-race tech, to hashtag Rolex PRT. Michelin post-race tech, the checkered flag may be the end of the race, but it's only the start of the conversation. Before anything else goes bonkers, just a quick, very quick, but very heartfelt thank you to everyone here at Daytona International Speedway. This is been a great honour to be the first live broadcast on Wednesday with Midweek Motorsport from this new stadium complex. The first live race coverage from here as well this weekend. And everybody from NASCAR Media, from the circuit, Joey Chipwood, the president, who gave us some time on Tuesday so that we could get his interview on the show on Wednesday. All the technical side of things, including our new facilities partners 3G, thank you for your help and assistance with the radio mic packs. And of course Brian Peck, Tyler Norling, who are always on hand to make sure everything goes well, along with Bubba Clark. It's been a great team effort, along with the crew back in London under Tim Gray with Dia as well, and the responsible adult as ever, Eve Hewitt. Brian Beerwalters and David Pettit are the guys who look after us from the IMSA side of things. It's been an extraordinary broadcast of an extraordinary event.
We are worried about
as we head now into the money laps. Slow down a little bit.
No.
41.5.
41.5.
Worried about something might have been slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, or something was going down a little bit. 42.2 he turned last time around.
And
it's a battle of a second and third in GTLM heading into turn 1. The Porsche has it. The Corvette of Antonio Garcia wants it.
Earl Bamber has now got his wing mirrors full of Corvette headlights to the left, to the right, down into the western side of the circuit, and the horseshoe there. Antonio Garcia wants to make it a 1-2 for Chevy Corvette. Earl Bamber will not be happy at being bumped out of the way from that first position. And Ollie Gavin has stretched away to out of dive bomb range from the Porsche. Up the inside here comes the yellow Corvette, but isn't close enough this time. Looks to me as though the Corvette has just got a slightly more grip underneath Antonio Garcia. It looks like Earl's fighting that car a bit more, Jeremy, particularly on the turning.
It does, doesn't it? The Corvette looks really nice and stable and balanced through there, but here they are on the back straight now.
Closing.
Less of the car left between them. The Corvette is in the toe, moving to the inside to make the move down into the bus stop chicane. Through goes Antonio Garcia.
And that was clean as a whistle. No paint traded, and a small whoop of delight from the Corvette pit. And I think that tells us everything we know, because normally, everything we need to know, because normally the Porsches are super quick out the slow to medium corners. I just think he's running out of grip.
I think you nailed it, John, because coming onto the turn 6 or onto the banking, it looked like the Porsche was definitely struggling for front end grip. It looked like it understeered a little bit, maybe wasn't able to plant the throttle quite as strongly as he normally did, and that enabled Antonio Garcia to get a run on him, and they get in the toe right in the slipstream of the Porsche, and then make the move into the bus stop chicane.
Minds that are immeasurably cleverer than mine, to quote the War of the Worlds, or to paraphrase it at least, are suggesting that there might be an element of lifting and coasting for Mr. Bamber as well. So I wonder if he's fuel saving.
The one I think is absolutely fuel saving, or else there's a problem, is René Rast, because his times have got out to 50, 153,
Got to keep
154,
an eye on
151.
He last stopped on
He's
6.
now 10. Babini is catching him, and catching him very fast indeed. 3 seconds quicker that last time, 5 seconds quicker the time before, and 4 seconds quicker 3 laps ago.
Well, this is the GTT battle that Graham is talking about. René Rast in the 44 Audi leads, last pitted on lap 670. Fabio Babini in second, last pitted on 671. 670 for Richie Stanaway in third, 14 seconds back. Nicky Katzberg, 677, is looking better than even Damien Faulkner in fifth on 674. So if anyone is marginal there, Nicky Katzberg is the man with the advantage at the moment. Jim Roller is down by Corvette. I heard the whoop of delight. Were there smiles to go along with that?
Yeah, well, Doug Feehan grinning like Cheshire Cat, because when it settled out that Ollie, after the bump and run, I said, you guys are right where you want to be, and he just kind of gave me a look. And then after Garcia got by, I said, now you're right where you want to be, and a big grin came across his face.
Well, is it going to be 2 from 2 for Corvette Racing here at the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona? Winners here last year, of course. Porsche took the inaugural IMSA race here.
Well, Graham, you were watching the times of the Audi number 44 of René Rast. Shea Adam for the Continental Tire pit lane reporters is down in that pit. What do you know, Shea?
Well, about 15 minutes ago, when we got our splash and go from Nicky Katzberg, I noticed that the 44 guys also had their fuel line up on the wall as the 20 comes in to get a splash and go. Johnny Mullen staying behind the wheel of that car. But they were intent to bring him in fairly short order, was Magnus. And then they decided not to, so they are rolling the dice. They're just seeing just how much René can lift and coast and just how much fuel he can save. But of course, that's a dangerous game to play with watches on the line.
Yeah,
wow.
Great.
Yeah,
last 20 minutes of the 54th Rolex 24 at Daytona, brought to you by the IHG Rewards Club on IMSA Radio, on the IMSA app, XM Sirius, and internet syndications, beautifully matched in sound and vision at imsa.com and radiolemont.com. Don't write the headlines yet if you're in the press room.
No, in GTD there's 25 seconds less than that covers the top 5 in the class. René Rast lead now down to 9 seconds, another 5 back to Babini.
Tristan Vautier just had an incident in the, excuse me, no, that is the 6 car.
That's the 6.
That's been an awful run for those guys. In fact,
Down
both
in
of those
15th,
guys.
it's Robin Liddell in 32nd
It was
position.
the number 9 car.
Yeah, it was
had
the
a
9.
fantastic run. They lost 2 laps early
That
on.
was the 6.
Oh, number 6, okay.
51 with a puncture.
Yeah, good spot, Graham. Left rear going into the bus stop. And
That car did lead the
Mark
GTD
Machocci
race, indeed.
behind the wheel, down in 11th and GTD.
We've had both the Ferrari 458s lead at various points here. But
Unusual to have a left rear. It's been right rear
Yeah.
normally this weekend. It's the one that has all the pressure, of course, of all of the... There's only 3 right-handers, so the left-hand side tyres don't do that much work. Pippa Durrani, 43.0 last time around, fellas. Max Anginelli, 41.7. Ryan Hunter here, 42.7.
I sense real last-minute drama here, John.
Well, it was some time ago that we heard a report that
it's just
Pippa Durrani was getting gearbox alarms. That might have just been for heat, and I wonder if that's one of the things they're saying, short shift and watch your speed, try and get the temps down a bit. And I'm still not sure these GTD runners are positive they can go the whole way. Certainly for René Rast. I think Earl Bamber is tight on fuel. I think Rast and Babini potentially are tight on fuel along with Richie Stanaway.
You look down the lap times last time, and René Rast at 151.5, Babini 50.0, Richie Stanaway 49.4, Nicky Katzberg 48.0, and Damien Fulton doing similar lap times as well. He's about 4 seconds back from Katzberg. This is
22
really
seconds, Jeremy, cover the top 5 in GTD.
It was 25 last time around.
And 5 on pit road.
And a cough and a splutter would make a huge difference there. Joao Barbosa brings the lead Action Express car down pit lane for its final time in the opening round of the IMSA WeatherTech Sportscar Championship for 2016. It's been a good comeback from Action Express, both cars with driveline problems, but they're going to get 4th and 6th at the moment in terms of points for the championship. But what a run it's been for Corvette so far. It was a horrible year last year for Ollie Gavin and the 4 crew, apart from the fact that they won Le Mans. They just didn't get any look at all, and at the moment they have a second on their teammates. I'm assuming they're not going to cut those guys loose for the last 16 minutes.
I think those decisions.
Multi-21.
No.
Multi-21, Antonio. Do
Not
you
here.
copy? Earl Bamber down to a 45.2. Doing a cracking job. He's got plenty of time between himself and Augusto Farfus. Let's go down to the pit lane. Jim Roller has stationed himself by the big yellow machine.
Well, word's gone out on the radio, guys. You're okay to race.
No way!
But they told Ollie Gavin, keep it clean, no risks.
Oh my goodness me. Well, you got to love them for that. But well, these guys are experienced. He says that those are words that could come back to bite them and indeed me in the last 15 minutes. Brought to you live on IMSA Radio by IHG Rewards Club. Live from the Daytona International Speedway, the new stadium complex. The IMSA Radio booth has been christened in some style this week for the first live broadcast from this fantastic facility. And immediately that the word has gone out on the radio, Antonio Garcia closes right up, Graham, to the back end of Ollie Gavin's Velocity Yellow Corvette, and I would say that Ollie is struggling more for grip than Tonio is.
Oh dear me. Well, we asked what we might get in the last 15 minutes by way of drama. What could we get?
Well, there's barely 2 Corvettes lengths between the leading cars.
It's only going to take a stumble in traffic, John.
Well, Earl Bamber's only 4.5 seconds behind, fellas, but I don't think he's got the pace or the grip to hold on to these guys. Augusto Farfus is too far back to pressure Bamber. Bamber can pace himself even if he's short of fuel a little bit. If he's short 2 laps, he's in no man's land. But if he's tight and they're just rolling the dice a bit, he might get home. But I mean, I'm actually quite surprised that they're going to cut these guys loose.
Another second there, Fabio Bobini took out of the lead to René Rast. It's now 4.3 seconds between car number 44, the leader in GTD, the second place Lamborghini of Fabio Bobini, car number 98, Richie Stanaway.
And it's now
is about
under 20 seconds, the top 5.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And we still have 13 minutes, or if you will, something in the region of 7 laps left.
And under 15 seconds for the top 4.
Yeah. I'm not counting out Faulkner here.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
He will be driving the wheels off that 93 Viper. Only confirmed for this race so far. This is a great job interview for Damien Faulkner, who's been out of a drive in a competitive car for me for too long. And I'll put my hand up and say he is an acquaintance of mine. But every time I see him in a car, I wonder why he's not getting the full drive. He's worked wonders in Porsches in the past, maybe as Richard Westbrook did a few years ago. It may be that you get hung with the tag of being a marque specialist, like a Porsche specialist, and Richard Westbrook had to break out of that and did do that. And this will do Damien no harm at all, this great drive that he's put in for the 93 squad.
another second and a quarter there that Fabio Bobini, look at them coming into turn 2 now. A lot of traffic, well, a lot of cars ahead of René Rast as he comes out of turn 2. That's silver and black and kind of grey Audi or Ford Magnus Racing, the teal and black Conrad Motorsports Lamborghini looking to pounce here, making the move down into turn 5.
Franz Conrad's cars
Isn't that fantastic?
in the mix when there needs to be. Was it not ever thus, Graham?
Well, the first time I came here for a
Oh,
Rolex
and these are two Corvettes absolutely together through the
good
tri-oval.
grief.
Was there a touch there between the front of Tonio Garcia and the back of Ollie Gavin? Now, Ollie Gavin did the bump and run to get the lead away from the Porsche of Earl Bamber. Is he going to be hoisted by his own petard from his teammate? Through the chicane, behind the pits, onto another lap, 4 and 3,
I think
0.068 of a second
go.
between them at the
On
line.
that side. No.
I don't think Ollie's got the grip to fight off Tonio here.
No, but at the same time, Antonio, they've got a lot of respect, I believe, between all these guys at Corvette Racing, and they're not going to risk anything, not anything really silly. I can't see a bump and run, let me put it that way.
I think if there's paint traded here, there'll be words.
Well, someone will be probably looking for a pink slip.
Yeah, or handed one the moment they get back to the pits. Yeah.
0.068 of a second when they cross the line.
Unbelievable.
This pair onto the high bankings now.
I
And
see
the run
it.
down to the bus stop.
There's a battle for GTD going to turn 1 now. There's what, second and a half between those two, is it?
It's
No.
very, very close
Yes.
between the two Corvettes, and here's Garcia. Ollie Gavin doing exactly the right thing on the chute down towards the bus stop and stays to the
He's gonna
outside.
go for it.
But Antonio Garcia follows one of the prototypes through. It's the 31 car of Dane Cameron and tries to get the draft. Just can't make it. That was nearly a very clever move indeed by Garcia. And he's got a great run out of the bus stop. And Ollie Gavin is going to have to defend now because he did not get the run. He was slightly compromised by Dane Cameron coming through. They're on stock car 3 and 4 on the high banks. These two cars have been drafting all the way through this race. They got to the front by working together. Now they've been cut loose by Doug Feehan.
Traffic ahead, John.
Side by side coming through the tri-oval, and here comes Brendan Hartley as well. And Garcia again gets a quarter of his car to the overlap. Ahead of them, the Park Place Porsche, the 73 car. And here comes Brendan Hartley to add to the mix as well. There's traffic everywhere. Ollie Gavin does not want to see this.
Contact, sorry, John. Contact, and that's the battle for a podium in the GTD class 1. It's going on all over the place. Turn 5 there. Nicky Katzberg took a look, a punt up the inside of Richie Stanaway. There was contact between the two. Stanaway slipped sideways, and I
think Faulkner's gone through. Faulkner's gone through on Katzberg, I think, with that little stumble.
They're side by side down to the bus stop.
Meantime, the two Corvettes continue
Aston
to
holds them
battle.
off.
And they've got a Porsche ahead of them. That'll be the 911.
This is crazy.
And
Now the GTD lead battle.
Yeah, there it is.
Here comes Babini.
And
He's
he's
got
gonna
the
blow
ponies
by him.
easily.
that's the advantage of the Lamborghini. He has just blown by the
same engine.
René Rast car. Yeah, but it's tuned for higher speed.
They blow by the 911 Porsche. Another lap down. And what now? 9 minutes.
Let's quickly run this through. René Rast has dropped a second. A 49.5 from Rast last time around. And I think he's struggling. Katzberg, Faulkner and Richie Stanaway absolutely together. Meantime, the Corvettes continue their formation flying. Here comes Tonio Garcia again. He's got the run, but he's got to go the long way around.
Tried the dummy.
Ollie Gavin does the right thing again. Stay down. Keep low, keep low, keep low. Make your opponent go the long way. Now, can he get stopped? Oh, he's got the Turner Motorsport car ahead of him. 17th in class for the BMW that's right ahead of them. This is the GTD car, the number 96. Ollie Gavin will have to go inside. That's not the optimum line there, but Garcia has no choice but to follow through on the same line through the first of the horseshoes on the infield.
8 minutes.
This is
ridiculous.
This is new century. This is ridiculous. This is new century endurance racing. We've seen this many times before. Now, when does the radio message go out? Okay, yeah, you've had to go.
Now, enough.
We'll split the prize money. Everybody gets a beer tonight. It'll be good. Don't worry.
7th overall, let's not forget. 7th and 8th overall, these two guys.
Well, the GTLM are 7th through to 12th overall. Davide Rigon in 6th in class in the 62 Ricci Competizione Ferrari is 12th. So they are in a line on the timing and scoring monitor as well. Oh, Ollie Gavin, not sure. Was there a little bit of a dalliance there as he came into the bus stop? I think there were, and again he's been slightly compromised, but he gets, this time he gets a super exit, but Tonio gets an even better one, and again straight down to the line. How many times, Jeremy Shaw, have you seen oval races, open wheel and stock cars where this has been going on? And now Dario Franchitti defending like this at Indianapolis, right down on the line.
Goes inside.
This time Tonio goes down to the left-hand side, and his inside Michelin's kiss the double yellow lines, and again he tries to throw the dummy. He's down the inside again, but can't get the overlap.
Yeah, just taking a shorter line there, Oliver Gavin, just making it really, really difficult. And I talked about it before, the respect that these two have. There's no way Antonio Garcia is going to make a bump and run here on his teammates, I don't think.
Says Jeremy Shaw.
Pretty confidently, actually. I can't see that. They're both class acts, these two. They've battled.
One might have said that of two certain Porsche Works drivers at this venue as well.
No argue with you there.
Babini, meanwhile, has pulled away in GTD.
Yeah,
René Rast. 6 minutes now.
René Rast now has got 11 seconds on Stanaway, Katzberg and Faulkner, who are all within together. 4 seconds of each other for the last place on the GTD. I think Rast's probably done enough now with 5.5 minutes to go.
Still there, waiting for a cough.
Well, I think Babini, Rast and Stanaway all stopped on 671 or 670.
Babini is trying to hold that gap. Babini is trying to fuel save and hold that gap.
Yeah, it's 28 laps that they've got to do here. They've done 28 laps. 671 to 699 now. 28 laps, that's a lot.
It is a lot. The last 5 minutes.
98 on pit lane. 98 on pit lane.
Oh my goodness, Richie Stanaway comes in, he's blinked. Now this could be genius. He might end up getting something out of this. The last 5 minutes is brought to you live here on IMSA Radio in sound and vision by IHG Rewards Club. The two Corvettes are still at it for the lead in GTLM in 7th position overall. The question mark that hangs over the top 5 in GTD is, have they got a new fuel? Jeremy Shaw.
The Aston Martin last pitted before this stop now on the same lap that René Rast did.
Yeah.
The Lamborghini pitted 1 lap later. Damien Faulkner pitted 3 laps after that. He should be good to go, I think.
And Nicky Katzberg did that splash on 677. He's fine.
He's fine, yeah.
The 540 may yet be in the lead position at the end of this.
Side by
Antonio
side.
Garcia through the Western Horseshoe tries to force a mistake out of Ollie Gavin. For a moment we could only see one Corvette. It'll be this one and 3 more from Durrani as he comes through. If we stay green, 4 minutes to go. And the battle is absolutely raging on the high banks. Antonio Garcia must be thinking, oh, I wish this was a competitor, because if it was, I would trade paint.
Well, I think he's
He
noticed
comes,
because of the yellow. He's got it.
down the inside, but Ollie Gavin moves him across. He's underneath the line.
Yeah,
he's had to go back across to the right-hand side. And Ollie Gavin, well, this is dangerously close to weaving around now by Ollie Gavin. He made the move to the inside, Germany, and then whizzed back across to the middle of the circuit.
Yeah. It's
Intense.
intense. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to call a penalty for that at this stage, particularly on 2 teammates, I believe. There is the
Comes
Lamborghini.
wide.
Is that slow?
Goes wide.
Babini's slowing
Is
down.
that-
Babini's slowing down.
He has.
There's drama. Fabio Babini in the 20th Lambo is slowing down. Rene Rast is going to go back to the lead. The 2 Corvettes are side by side and through.
Goes through.
Antonio Garcia. And he's
slid wide.
wide
He's
in
slid
turn
wide.
1. Through back goes
Oh,
Ollie Gavin.
whoa.
Changing positions on the penultimate lap. And meantime, Babini is out of fuel. Fabio Babini, the 28 car, is slowed in the infield section. And there's cheers down at Audi. Shea Adam has seen the guy. They've seen it as well now down at the 44 pit.
I thought the Magnus pit box was going to collapse because all 7 people sitting on top of it jumped up in the air about 6 feet and landed at the same time. There was a huge cheer from Audi. Remember, we don't know that they're good on fuel yet, though, but apparently they know something we don't.
They've still got 2 more laps to go, depending on where they are on the racetrack and where the race leader is. I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion here.
We had an Audi run out of fuel on the final lap 2 years ago.
I remember it. I remember it well. And there's the 44 slowing.
He's slowing.
The 44 is slowing on the far side of the circuit. The Audi, the Magnus Audi, is slowing as well. And Katzberg is going to come through. Has he picked up speed again?
He's picked up speed again.
He's wiggling around. It's on the banks. It is a real problem to get fuel pressure on the high banks. Talking to Brad Kettler about this, everybody struggles through the tri-oval, and the battle for the lead is back on again. Here's the 540 coming through. He's right on his tail, down into turn number 1, and the 540 of Nicky Katzberg goes round the outside. This is the battle for the lead in GTD.
No, wrong Audi. The 11 car is at the International Horseshoe. 540 is about 6 seconds back now. Wow.
Oh my goodness me.
Babini has made it to the pits.
It's gone, gone for Babini. Damien Faulkner's in 3rd position for Dodge, and it may be better than that yet. There's only 10 seconds between Rast. The white flag is out this time, 3.5 miles, and still you can't write the headlines. The 54th Rolex 24 Daytona will go to the wire. Live on IMSA Radio and TV from the Daytona International Speedway. The last 50 seconds, the last 3.5 miles now, brought to you by IHG Rewards Club, and Pipi Durrani has 21 seconds on the field. That is the only conclusion, the only foregone conclusion out there. One single stutter from Rene Rast, and Katzberg will be on him. It's 8.5 seconds between 1st and 2nd.
He's going to have to do another lap, though,
Of course
isn't
he is.
Absolutely.
Unless he gets passed by the leader.
Yeah, where is it? I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think it is. He's in turns 3 and 4 now.
No, that's not going to happen.
Oh my goodness. Saw
This is
that
where he
Audi
slowed
slowing
last
down there.
time. Yep.
And I really thought it was going to happen again. Pipo Durrani out of the WEC for 2016. Picked up by Scott Sharp and Ed Brown for ESM. Has been a breakout race for this young man.
Look at that. Damien Faulkner is only about four or five car lengths behind Nicky Katzberg. The bad news is there's 2 cars between them, and he's got past one of them, though, as Damien Faulkner.
Here comes the Patron ESM. Well, what a difference a year makes. 3 different manufacturers for their chassis last year, and they will start 2016 in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship. Inaugural race goes to ESM and to Patron. Let's get some reaction from down in the pit lane in a moment, because we still have other races to resolve. And here comes onto the high banks at turn 1 for the final time, the 44 of Rene Rast. There's damage to the right front of that car. The 540 is getting closer.
Second is home. 10 comes home in second place.
That is Max Angelelli. Ryan Hunter-Reay will be next up. And Damien Faulkner in third position in the Viper Exchange 93 car, Stars and Stripes car. Faulkner less than a second away from second, but will get a podium here. Could it be better even than that? Down at Magnus, they think they've got it, Adam. They think they've got it at Magnus, don't they? I can hear them cheering. He can almost kick out the clutch and coast home from here, almost.
And here comes the Porsche as well. Closing, closing, closing.
Corvettes have gone through, first and second with Earl Bamber in third. And Magnus win for Audi in GTD. And right on the line, it is Katzberg from Faulkner. The two vets aren't finished yet. Here they come on the high banking, and Ollie Gavin round the outside, almost gets there. Let's head down and get some reaction down in the pit lane. Jim Roller.
Well, you hear the cheers going up as we're trying to work our way through the throng of folks with iPhones down here who are photographers. Doug Feehan, you are now officially the Les Miles of auto racing. I hope you realize that.
Well, I appreciate the crown, but I think what you saw today was simply the two best road racers, GT road racers in the world, with the two best cars in the world. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better finish than this.
That was absolutely fantastic, and what a gutsy call.
Well, you don't spend 23 and a half hours working this hard without having the ability to race. That's what this sport is about. We trust them. We know how good they are. They know what the rules are. They abided by them. That last pass and repass was as good as it gets and as clean as it gets. They're truly the best guys in the world.
Well, for those around the world listening, Les Miles is an American football coach who's famous for really wild decisions, and that's what Doug Feehan did today. More from Corvette in a moment. Let's go to Shea.
Well, down with the overall winners, it's ESM Tequila Patron coming away with the first win since Johannes Van Overbeek and Ed Brown won at Laguna Seca. This is a little bit bigger of an event, Johannes. Does it feel even sweeter?
You know, the ESM Patron guys really been working hard, and last year was a real challenge, and this is definitely a race that's on everyone's bucket list, ours included. For me personally, this is my 15th running of it, and I've had two super close calls, and so to finally win it is, I can't even describe, it hasn't sunk in yet. It's unbelievable.
What a massive contrast to what you guys went through last year with the new car at the beginning. It's the first win for an LMP2 car on the banks of Daytona. What does it feel like to know that you and ESM are bringing that to this series?
Well, it just proves that it's good technology, it's reliable. Honda built a great power plant for us. You know, it's really a team effort, and Enroque, with their help, those guys were just amazing, and treated this very scientifically about how we ran the race, and you know, I'm in awe, and especially to Pipo. For a 22-year-old guy, he showed amazing restraint and maturity, and you know, he's one of these guys that we're going to be proud we knew him in a few years.
Y'all did one heck of a job. Now down to Jim with Jan Magnussen.
Jan Magnussen by 34 one-thousandths of a second. You're a Daytona 24 Hours champion. Congratulations.
No, I'm not. I think the 4-car won, but wow, that was crazy. So crazy. Fantastic. Such a great result for the team. I couldn't be happier for everybody. It's crazy, crazy race. Fantastic.
Down at Magnus, the celebration has already begun. And just hopping over the wall, first off, Brad Kettler. Brad, Audi's won in Europe. Now they've won with the new R8 in Daytona International Speedway. How hard fought was this win?
this was one of the hardest fought ones I've ever been in, and I just can't say enough for everybody that donated to it, for all my team, for the Magnus team, for all the people at home. It's just unbelievable. Lars Geiersing, incredible tactic. I mean, he played it absolutely amazing. Rene in the car responded with what we needed him to do. We had him saving fuel, we had him going fast, we were back and forth, and he played it perfectly. Rene is the master of fuel saving. He learned a lot of that from the prototype, and he applied what he knew here today in the moments when it counted. I couldn't be prouder of anybody. To bring our new car here, our new GT3 car we also love and we're so proud of, it's just an amazing feeling.
I've heard you this emotional only once before, and that was at a Le Mans win. Thanks, Brad. Jim's down at Corvette still.
Feels just as good.
Well, let's really interview a winner this time. Sorry about that, guys. You, Tommy Milner, are a Rolex 24 champion. You're going to get a watch, and it's going to have 34 one-thousandths of a second on it.
That is unbelievable. I mean, I'm sure I didn't know who won, to be honest, there at the end. I mean, what a race. I was waiting for the call from the pit stand to basically say, no, okay, let's end it here. But, I mean, those two, Antonio and Oliver, they put on what a show that was. I couldn't watch. I had to watch, but I couldn't watch. I still don't even know what to say right now. It's just, it has not even for a second sunk in yet.
After all the hard luck of last year that you guys suffered, this has got to be even more satisfying, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, on the Ford car, I mean, you know, last year, Oliver and I, we had, and Simon, we had a good race going, just had some unfortunate incidents at the end there, and you know, really thought we had a car to win, and we knew we had a car to win it today, and our Corvette was super strong, as we saw. I mean, you know, it was right there at the end. The cars were comfortable to drive. Oliver and I know Antonio could push as hard as they could to get every little thing out of it, and yeah, 34 one-thousandths of a second. That's crazy.
Good for you. Shay?
No possums this year for Magnus Racing. As Andy Lally says to Marco Seafried, now we've got Sebring and Daytona. Marco, you first. This is massive. I can see the emotion on your face. What's it like to win in Daytona?
I don't know. It's, how can I say? After yesterday, when we saw the performance of the Lamborghinis when the race started, we thought we will be blasted by them. We don't have any chance. And now, to the very end, that was so frightening. I mean, we run out of fuel, they run out of fuel a lap before, and we are in the in-lap actually, you know, cross the line. And to me, it's the first 24-hour win. I mean, I finished second twice, but I never had that win. And yeah, it makes me really proud.
Well, from one who's just got his first 24-hour win to Andy Lally, who's got another one. 5 now, my friend. How are you going to put so many watches on your arm at once?
It's been a 4-year drought, and I've been wanting to get one for my little sister for so long. I've given them to every one of my family members, and this one's for her. It's so cool to get. It's unbelievable. Renee's a superstar. Marco's a superstar. John, I slept through his triple stint. I didn't know he even tripled last night, but he was crushing it. And this whole Magnus crew, to work with Audi, come out our first race and stick a P1 at Daytona at the 24-hour. I mean, this story's going to get told over and over and over again. Oh,
congrats to both.
5 times.
Shea Adam and Jim Roller, our Continental Tire pit lane crew, along with Joe Bradley earlier on. And that last hour, that last half hour, 5 minutes, brought to you by IHG Rewards Club, as in on the back of a tow line comes the winning car in GTD. It was that close for Magnus and for Audi. What a race. One more lap and it would not have got home. What about as well the 93 Viper, 4 laps down, and they come back on the lead lap and nearly win it. That's quite remarkable.
Well, John, the first time since 2002 in this 2003, sorry, in this race that anything other than a Daytona prototype has taken the overall win. The first ever win for a P2 car. The first ever win for Ligier. Astonishing race.
Just a word of caution. We have a slight concern for Max Angelelli, who stopped the number 10 car. Immediately he went through the checkered flag and is being attended by the medical team. We knew that there was some issue with fumes in that car. He is getting attention, and as soon as we get any word officially on that, we'll let you know. The ambulance and medical staff, as well as the IMSA intervention staff, are down there, and as soon as we get some word, we will. For those of you here at Daytona on 107.9 and listening on the PA, we'll be turning that back to our colleagues here for the formalities. But before we do, what about a quick word with Antonio Garcia? He is Jim Roller and the Corvette driver.
Well, at the risk of winning not the I Respect Spirit of the Race, but the Steve Harvey Wrong Winner Award, Antonio, did you think you had him? I sure did.
Oh, for sure I did. Yeah, I mean, I was pushing everything I had, and yeah, there's nothing. They can't hear me.
Yeah, it's we're not on PA. Don't worry about it. We're going live on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I had it. Yes, I mean, we had some issues with fuel pickup, so we had to save. Not save. We have to do an extra stop against them. So I was the last 2 hours, or the last hour and a half, when we figured out that there was something wrong. I had to go like hell. So yeah, probably lost a bit of momentum with first catching up the leading guys and passing the Porsche, and then when I got to Oli, maybe I was lacking a little bit. But I mean, it was great. I mean, great for Corvette. I mean, 1-2, but for sure today I felt. I mean, the 3 car was super strong, but at the end doesn't matter. 3-4 than 4-3.
All right, well, great effort, and you gave us a great show.
Thank you.
Shay?
Damian Faulkner, you went from being 4 laps down to being on the podium. How in the world do you do that in the span of a 24-hour race in a car you've never driven before?
With the help of Riley Motorsport and brilliant teammates. They're all here. They never put a wheel wrong. They had very little experience in the car like me. And then to drive at this level and not put a wheel wrong, when you see the carnage that's going on around you. But we were guided by, all of us were guided by an excellent team in Riley Motorsport. I mean, they really are the first class of the pit lane, and can't thank them enough.
Well, you can never count out the Riley name, but you also can't count out Faulkner because he won't be held down. John?
A little bit further down here in Victory Lane is Earl Bamber. You guys gave it the good fight. You were the teams to beat. Last year you were on a great winning streak, but just fell a little bit short today. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, we pushed really hard. We were leading to the last hour, but the Corvette guys were too strong on pace. We ran our fastest laps of the race, but you know, we just couldn't get it done today. So congratulations to them, and now we look forward to Sebring.
All right, there's the word here from Victory Lane, and we're trying to find the 85 car. And when we do, John, we'll get back to you. There is a throng of people here, both fans and team members alike.
Thank you, Shay and Jim. Coming up on IMSA Radio, stay with us for the Michelin Post Race Tech. We'll go through some analysis, some thoughts. We'll announce the I Respect Spirit of the Race Award, which has been very close indeed. Your final nominations for that, you've got about 5 minutes to get those in. Questions, please, to @IMSA Radio, hashtag Rolex PRT for Michelin Post Race Tech for the Rolex 24 here at Daytona. I have no words, Graham. I have no more words.
Well, so many stories, so many things to try to remember and put into some kind of shape. Jeremy, you just pointed out some extraordinary stuff to do with the fastest laps set by some of those cars. Both the Corvettes setting their fastest laps of the race beyond 700 laps in this race. The 01 Ganassi DP beyond 710, and there would have been Damo's fastest at 696 laps. Huge pace at the end.
So go down to our Continental Tire pit lane reporters. Shea Adam has another one of our winners, Shea.
Kenton Cook just described this as pretty cool. Yeah, it's your first ever start in the big IMSA series, your first ever start in a PC, where they tried to actually poach you out of our commentators booth for that once. I'd say this is pretty cool.
It's pretty freaking awesome. You know, I can't even believe I'm here and in victory lane. Like, when I crossed the finish line, like, it kind of hit me, but like when I pulled in and saw the fans and everything, I was like, holy crap, this is the big leagues. Like, this is kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know what other words to describe it other than unbelievable, and I can't believe I'm here. And the thing is, it wasn't just me; it's a team effort, you know. And everyone at JDC, my family, the drivers, Stephen, Mikhail, and Chris, and they just all drove a fantastic race, and we all. I mean, I think I made a couple mistakes, and but it happens. And the thing is, we capitalize on it, and JDC crew freaking worked their butts off. So
even making mistakes, they decided to let you finish the race. That is a huge honor and responsibility, especially when you're so many laps up. They've got faith in you. What does that mean? Are we going to see you back with this team in the future?
Oh, we'll definitely be back with this team in the future, and it was great that they had that confidence in me, and they know me as a driver. I don't normally make mistakes, and this was kind of one of those one-off things that, you know, sometimes it just happens. So they had the confidence in me to, you know, take it to the end, and we did, and we won.